Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of First Class. I'm your host, Joey Bonsanti. Sitting across from me, as always, Tony Vegas. We are literally less than 24 hours away from the start of the legal tampering period, 2026 NFL free agency. It's almost like we just said last week. The gap from the Super Bowl to now, it flies by, and just like that, we're in another NFL season where we're sucked right back in. But Tony, how you feeling? Are you feeling optimistic about heading into the free agency period tomorrow?
I'm excited. I always get excited this time of the year. It's, I'm tempering my expectations a little bit just based off of some of the rumors that are coming out, all the articles. You get a good sense of what they're going to do before it actually happens. Like last year, I remember all the beat reporters were saying they're going to take it easy, not spend a lot of money, and that was the case. They went bargain shopping, so maybe a little bit more aggressive this time around, but it feels like Christmas Eve, and it shouldn't. We're probably gonna get like a middle of the pack safety tomorrow, but I'm excited, Joe. It's light out Sunday, not our usual recording time. So
I'll ask you this: over under hours wise on when you think the first New York Jets signing will be. I mean, typically and historically, the Jets, at least the past like 5 or 6 years, have been more of the bargain shopping. You'll get like a late day one signing and then a bunch of day three. What over under hour wise? Where do you think the Jets will sign? Is it like 4.5, 2.5?
I think we'll get the first signing at like 2:30, maybe.
Okay,
So it starts at noon, right?
noon, yeah.
Um, I don't know, man. I just feel like it's gonna be like a Marcus Davenport at like 2:15 p.m. That's my prediction. So you're right, though. They usually do wait a little bit. Even like the year when we got Lawson, we got Corey Davis. That was like probably the last year we really like spent on some premium free agents. And obviously neither of those guys worked out, but I think that was at like 6 p.m. we signed Corey Davis. I remember
It was approaching darkness. I do remember that. I don't remember the time.
I remember exactly what I was doing. I was riding a Peloton, and I got off and saw that we signed Corey Davis. So, yeah, I think 2:15 Marcus Davenport. That's my official prediction.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about some players here. Who the Jets have been rumored and linked to, what's actually reality here, because at the end of the day, again, it takes two to tango here. The Jets could offer, but the player has to be interested in coming and the money has to be right. The big name obviously to start with is Alex Anzalone. Personally, I think that's actually going to fizzle out. He's not going to come here. I don't think he's coming here. I think that's just it's like the obvious choice, right? You can make the connection that he's been with Glenn in New Orleans and Detroit. He's the veteran guy, comes in essentially point guard of the defense. Although he's not the player he once was, he can at least run the defense, and hopefully, if they're keeping Sherwood, have a running mate that he feels confident in and can grow and develop in this new defense. Do you feel like the Anzalone stuff will come to fruition tomorrow or the next day?
No, I think he's going to go to the Bears.
Me too. That's exactly. We haven't talked about this. I actually think he's going to go to the Bears too.
I think there's a connection between him and Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
And they just cut Edwards, right? So I think he'd be like a cheaper option for them. And he's older, right? But they're like a win now team. I think it makes more sense for the Bears. He probably wants to go and win. Why the fuck would he want to come and help out Aaron Glenn with like a 4-win team?
I totally agree. And that's so funny you say that. And we usually talk about everything Jets related offline, but I was going to suggest the Bears just because of their trajectory last year, and they have a quarterback and Ben Johnson and all that good stuff. So I think the other name that's been floated around is like the contingency plan is Micah McFadden from the Giants. Again, not as much like he's younger. He's a younger dude. I guess it would be dude. It would be just our brain rot on TikTok coming out on the podcast. But that's what I've been hearing, at least through the weeds on Twitter and reporting, is that he is a guy that the Jets are looking at. Have you heard anything on that front, or like what is the contingency plan if Anzalone is not signed by the Jets? Because the linebacker room is looking pretty bleak.
Do we have like a list of the available free agents? I'm pulling up. These are the names, right? That Zach Rosenblatt said to look out for, which I thought was interesting. Anzalone was the first one he listed, so I think it's very possible he still comes here.
It's definitely on the table.
Like, I think you're right. I think it's like an adult in the room with Jamie and Sherwood, who clearly doesn't have the the skill to quarterback a defense. I think they need like that veteran to come in. Leo Chenal, Joey, is who I like actually want though. He's 25. A lot of us wanted him in the draft. I think he was available in like the 3rd round. And I can't believe he's hitting free agency. I think he's like a really good linebacker, and he could be like part of the future too. Like, let's just say it doesn't work out and Aaron Glenn goes and all that's, unfortunate stuff happens. I think like Leo Chenal is like, okay, we have this guy until he's 30, and like, I'm cool with that, right? He seems like he can be the guy to like lead the defense moving forward. So I'd rather him than Alex Anzalone, but obviously
will fetch more money too. So
he's going to be expensive. That's the thing. So we'll see. I just think that's one of those ones where it's like kind of worth the bag in that case. But yeah, I don't know. It's not like a great middle linebacker. Tremaine Edmonds is now available. He's only 27.
Him and Demario Davis are 2 other names that I was going to bring up, just because Demario obviously had 2 Jet stints before, kind of the one that got away that I guess the Jets should have never let him go. At this point, he is, I think, 37 years old, just turned 37 a month ago. I would be all set on that. I mean, I guess it could be good to kind of get that CJ Mosley-esque type player where I would classify the Anzalones, the Demario Davis, the Tremaine Edmonds, like the veteran dudes who've been there, who kind of lead the defense. Do you think, like, what's your thoughts on a Demario or Tremaine Edmonds?
This fire truck is right outside of my apartment, which is one of the loudest things I've ever heard. So I'm going to wait for that to go away in 1 second, and it has gone away. So, I mean, dude, 37 years old is freaking old. And it would be like a true, like, 1-year Band-Aid. But, like, I don't know. If you give Demario Davis, what is he going to command? 1 year, $7 million maybe?
I mean, his previous AAV was $8 million. So I would think, God, what, like 1 for 6?
Is he still even good? Like, that's the thing. How good can you be at 38 years old, 37 years old, right?
Physically, I can't imagine that he is that great anymore. I mean, he did play 17 games last year. I don't know if he started in all of them. He started 17 games last year.
Holy cow, dude.
Which is pretty impressive for a 37-year-old.
PFF grade of 82.
Hey, like, man, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie.
He's still good. I again, another player where it's like, why would he come here? Like,
I agree. These players, you got to think, are trying to chase rings at this point in their career.
Yeah, like, he hasn't done a lot of winning in New Orleans, right? I mean,
he was with the Jets, Cleveland, the Jets, and New Orleans, and it's been a pretty. I mean, there was some obviously when Breeze was still there. They were winning, good. But I mean, New Orleans has not been a place to be for years now.
Man, I think he would make sense in like the Chiefs. I think he should like go to the Chiefs or something like that. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, but that is a player like that's bargain hunting, right? It's like a solid player. You can probably get him for 1 year, won't kill yourself in the future. And, he'd be interesting. Some of the other names, by the way. So Nick Cross we'll probably do safeties, but Nick Cross, Anzalone, this Lions defensive end, Al-Quadin Muhammad.
Yeah. That's a guy that I think I was reading a little bit more about that Glenn had almost like revamped his career in Detroit after I think he was suspended for a little bit. So
yeah,
there's some options there. And obviously, the thing about the splash plays and the splash signings and free agency, the Jets can offer someone as much money as they want to, right? They have to want to come here. That's always the thing that I remind myself is like, you can put out this great free agency plan. Oh, we'll go out and sign this wide receiver. We'll go out and sign this linebacker. God, man, there is now a stigma, right? And I know money talks, but at the end of the day, why you're right. Like, why would Anzalone come here? Why would Demario Davis come here? Why would Romeo Doubs come here? Like, there is on the other, like the flip side, an argument to be made against all of these players, like why they shouldn't come here. Why should any receiver want to come here with no quarterback set in place? What's the gold at the end of the rainbow? Carson Wentz, Geno Smith,
right? What's the sell? It's not an envious job that Glenn has to try to pitch these players. Hey, can you come in and help me save my job? But yeah, I think honestly, man, they're just gonna have to throw a little bit more money at these players. I think, sadly, and in years past, you could make the case. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. Money's green, and like they'll come here if the money's right, all that stuff. No, dude. I think it's gotten so bad recently. And you're right. Like Romeo Dobbs, he's like a 25-year-old receiver, catches a bunch of touchdowns, and I'm like, why not sign him to be receiver too, and not pigeonhole yourself in the draft? But you're right, man. We're gonna probably. Are we going to do QB predictions? Because it's very likely that they're signing 2 of them now, right?
Yeah, after the reports came out yesterday from Connor Hughes, pretty much saying it's probably going to be like a mix of Geno Smith and Carson Wentz at this point.
That's what I'm thinking. I think that's exactly what it's going to be: Geno Smith and Carson Wentz.
I just don't see a world, and this is not a draft episode by any means, where they wouldn't go out and draft like a Ty Simpson. That's my, or a Nussmeier in the 2nd or 3rd round, or an Aller, but you're looking at it's looking pretty bleak. And I tweeted something out yesterday. It's just like, can you imagine Geno Smith gets the Raiders' 1st round pick this year, our first number 1 overall pick this year, and gets us the number 1 overall pick next year? These are very grim, bleak options. It doesn't sound like Kyler Murray's coming here. It doesn't sound like, I haven't even heard any rumblings of Marcus Mariota, which I feel like is probably at this point more competent than Geno, although Geno had 1 bad year out of the past like 3 or 4. Geno was semi-competent. Seattle dumped him at the perfect time, but he was a good quarterback in Seattle for some years. So I don't know. I can't see it working out, but if it is Geno and Carson, like what is I just don't, from their perspective, how they feel confident going into this year with that quarterback group, to be honest with you.
I think the idea with Geno Smith is he's not incompetent. I don't think he is. Like, he can pass the ball, right? Like, that's the bar. We signed Justin Fields, who cannot throw the ball. So I think Geno Smith can push the ball downfield. He's like extremely like turnover prone. Probably, not like the highest IQ QB, but I think it's a classic. Like, this is the Giants getting Russell Wilson last year. That's it. And they happened to pounce on Jackson Dart, but this is like a classic. Can you get us to 2027? Or if we take Ty Simpson, can you get us to the middle of the season until we want to start this rookie? And I think Geno's capable of that, right? Like, he's an NFL quarterback. That's what it is. They were unable to field an NFL quarterback last year, and they still didn't get the 1st pick, which is insane. But this is like us signing Josh McCown. This is like us signing Fitzpatrick, and that ended up working for a few years. It's the same idea. That it's a true bridge quarterback. And, man, like, if that's the route they do end up going, it really makes me think about, like, how safe these guys' jobs are. If they're willing to kick the can again down to 2027. Because if they don't take Tyson, they didn't take a swing on a QB. They did not. Like, their swing on a QB was Justin Fields and Geno Smith. Like, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like fair.
Yeah. Are you kind of insinuating that there would be a chance that even if things went awry in 26, that they would be back no matter what?
Yeah, I think they might. That would tell me what's going on, right? I think Woody was, if that happens, Woody was probably like, look, you're getting 3 years regardless. You'll get to use all this capital, and we'll see what it looks like after year 3. And that's a scary thought, dude.
I think it is a scary thought. For me to believe, though, let's just say the Jets secure the number 1 overall pick next year.
We always come back to this.
I know. I'm literally throwing it out there before. I know I do not want to get sidetracked today. I want to talk about free agents, but the Jets have the number 1 overall pick. Woody has guaranteed them 3 years. Kevin O'Connell had a horrible year.
How do you fire him?
Exactly. Like, things can change in the draft, like literally an instant. So
yeah, you're right.
I know what you're saying, and I see where you're coming from, and I've had the same scary thoughts before. But I think if it's that bad, Woody won't have the patience. He needs to see some sort of growth. I think that's where we're going to screw ourselves here, is if the Jets end up winning 6 games, 5 games. They look good. They're only losing by, 3 to 5 points in their losses, and they look like a competent football team, but have a horrible record, which is possible. I do want to flip it. Offense, I mentioned receivers. Like, obviously, they're not going to be in the Alec Pierce market. That's just going to be way too expensive.
Patriot.
He's also not. Yeah, he's going to go to the Patriots probably. Romeo Dobbs, we touched on. Like, what what are the options? Because I always I always said I think this team should get a wide receiver in free agency plus a first or second round wide receiver. I just the options aren't great. Like you're looking at Debo, Christian Kirk, like Juwan Jennings, who I actually really like Juwan.
That
I
that
just
might be an option.
I don't know if he'd come here. Curtis Samuel, Tutu Atwell, the smaller dudes. Like I'm good on that front. I've heard a lot of Wandale Robinson. I just don't
Titans.
Titans. Yeah, that makes sense with Dable. But like, what are the options? What are you feeling good coming out of free agency with? The Jets don't re-sign Mechie for the $3 million, which I agree with. I mean, that's kind of expensive for a guy that'd be your 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Do you see them going a specific route here in free agency for wide receivers?
I think it's going to be like a wide receiver 3, like Juwan Jennings. I think that would be like a decent signing. He had what 650 yards last year, 9 touchdowns. Holy shit!
Juwan's inconsistent, but he's very, very talented. Like I would love Juwan Jennings. I think he's a great receiver,
and he's big, right?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Like they need like that like power forward 3. If they're not going to go like Denzel Boss or whoever in the draft, like if they go with like Kai Lemon at 16 or something, you need like that big threat in the red zone because they don't have that. Like Mason Taylor is your tight end. He's not like a go up and get it in the end zone type of guy. Like I think he's more of like a, smooth operating tight. And plus he's still only 21. Like I'm not hitching too much on him. So yeah, I think like Juwan Jennings would make sense. Romeo Doubs would be awesome, dude. They need a guy to catch ball, like balls in the end zone. That's it. And he does that.
It would be great.
Helmet.
It would be great. Honestly, I don't like Guardian Caps, but it's become such a meme that I think he has become almost likable with it.
I know. He looks like a Martian.
Staying on the offense side of the ball now, let's just say Jets lose Simpson. They lose AVT, which seems pretty likely. Graham Glasgow from Detroit was released, so I would look at that, right? At the guard position. Or he's a center. I think he has
plays all
guard.
Over.
Yeah, he plays all over. That's right. I would look at him. I mean, I don't know. Illuminor, who was linked to the Jets a few years ago,
the Giants tackle?
Yeah, was a former Giant. I mean, maybe you could look at him. Becton got released. I don't know if there's any smoke to that.
I think this is seriously becoming like the conversation at 16 is changing a little bit because it does seem like AVT is walking, which is crazy to me. I cannot believe they're letting him go. They have the money. I don't get it. Like, you want to talk about like tagging Breece Hall and not opening? They just open another hole. What? Maybe. I mean, dude. I mean, look, the guy barely plays. Like, there is an argument. I'm just nervous that he's going to go to another team and suddenly become healthy. But I think it's going to become a real conversation, Joey, of them drafting one at 16.
Yeah,
which sucks, but
I'm not cool with that right now. To be honest with you, I'm not.
Bro, you could take one of these tackles like Fano or Lomu from like Utah, I think, and kick them in at guard. And I mean, but you could also get one at 33 or 44, dude. Like they got Tippmann at the end of in the second round, right?
Yeah, I just at that point I'd rather not waste capital where your line is pretty much good. Could I get a Band-Aid like a Josh Myers and plug in a guard?
Band-Aid already though.
I get that, but not a Band-Aid, but someone who you can sign and feel relatively confident in. Like, I'd feel okay. I mean, Glasgow's almost 34, but he could probably be solid for another year or two. And I would rather draft an offensive lineman second, third, fourth round. I really don't want to burn another first round on an offensive lineman. I really don't want to do it. This organization has to learn to get offensive linemen outside of the fucking first round.
Yeah, no, there's definitely an argument to make.
It's ridiculous. It really is. Like, I don't want to sit here and draft an offensive lineman in the first round. That can't be how we get our offensive line, which, mind you, we've been building for 10 years now and just got there last year. I swear to God, we've been doing this for way too long. It was just brick by brick. Thought 21 we were going to get it with Douglas here. That never came to fruition
because Douglas was fat. I was like, this guy knows how to build no line.
Yeah, that's a typical Jets fan. Like, we had a lot of mentality with Joe Douglas, but
yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I think you're right. They do need to be an adult organization and learn how to draft a third round guard. And I think you might be right. Maybe they do sign a 1-year Band-Aid, draft a guy at 44 earliest. Problem is they don't have a pick from 44 to like 103.
Yeah, that's a problem, man. That really is
Like,
a problem.
that 3rd-round pick that they traded for fucking Reddick would have been perfect to go and get that guard. But now you have to take one at 44 if you're going to do that.
I know. It's a really weird situation to be in. Speaking of Hassan Reddick, he is a free agent again this year, which is, I'm looking at the list right now, which is crazy. I guess he didn't pan out for Tampa last year. I'm looking at some of the other top end, like, going to be interesting. And I'm not saying the Jets are going to get him. Like, where does Hendrickson go? Where does Lattimore go? Trayvon Diggs. Arizona just parted ways with Dalvin Tomlinson on the defensive line. I know we're kind of in a good spot there. Are there any other, like, I've heard a lot of JFM rumblings, not to the Jets, but
he's getting paid, which is like crazy.
Yeah,
we really fumbled that one, man.
I think, and it was when the Jets got rid of him, or when Douglas traded him away, it was so much. There was so much confusion amongst Jets fans, right? He was our run stopping DN who was just did his job, was quiet, was a great find by Douglas because he got him from LA.
Yeah,
and
on waivers, insane.
I know, which was, again, he did show some promise in that sense, but to get rid of him was probably the most asinine move that we've made in a long time. So I don't know if they sign any more. I'm sure if anything, it'll be depth on the defensive side of the ball, defensive line.
Yeah. Dude, I think this is going to be a lot of defensemen. Like, I don't think they're going to spend big on the offensive side of the ball. I listened to a podcast with Will Parkinson and Jason Over the Cap, who are both fantastic. You guys should check out that podcast. And he kind of alluded to the fact that he's like, don't expect some like flashy moves on the offensive side of the ball. I think it was more like they're going to spend money smart and like, a little bit reserved on the defensive side of the ball. Fill the needs at safety, probably a depth corner, because a sneaky need, by the way, they like don't have like if Stevens goes down or Thomas goes down, like who's going in at outside corner?
Mind you, Azareye'h Thomas, for as promising as it seems he is still a young player that we don't know much about. I think the trouble that we get into, not us specifically, but we do it as well, and a lot of Jets fans do it. We see these guys play, and we automatically just say, all right, they're good. Like, we do it all the time. I really do feel like, all right, well, Malachi Moore is solid. Azareye'h is solid. Like, whoa, like, they played 1 year on a shitty team and showed flashes. Like, let's not just crown it as a home run hit by Muji in the draft. So, yeah, I do think that is a sneaky need. I wouldn't mind if they took, how was it? Second round does seem early, but I mean, they did it last year, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I could see them taking a corner of a pretty good defensive backs class. There's a lot of ways they can go.
Ifidu Meluanu from the Dolphins is a guy to watch, apparently.
Ifiatu, yeah, he's actually a kid from college that I went to college with. Is like best friends with him.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How the hell do you pronounce his name?
I think it's Ifiatu Meluanu.
Very nice.
But yeah, he's been floated around. He was in Detroit for a little bit. Then he was on Dolphins, you said?
Yeah, he's on the Dolphins now.
Yeah. Ooh, so he was, that makes sense. He was in Detroit with Glenn during the solid years that they had. So
it's pretty funny. I look up his age, about 26 years old. What?
I think he's a year younger than us. So yeah, I think he's probably turning 26.
Literally look up his age on Google. It'll say about 26 and it'll just say a month and a date, no birthday.
Let's see this. See if Tony's lying straight up. No, it says he's currently 26 for me.
Oh.
Tony's Google. Tony's using Bing as a
I'm using Firefox
search engine.
But yeah, like that's a solid like depth guy who can, he's a safety. He's not even.
Well, I think he went back and forth.
Okay. So
he can mostly safety, but I think he could play. He could play both.
That's like perfect though. You need a backup safety. You need a backup corner. Like just get a versatile utility player in the defensive backfield. I think that'd be a good move. But yeah, I think so on that podcast, they're probably just going to punt this offense knowing it's a lost cause. They can't figure out quarterback. They'll probably get a placeholder like Geno Smith, just to like man the ship. And, if this defense looks formidable under Glenn's play calling, and that can be like a real identity of the team, I think like that is their hope of keeping their jobs. Like, look what happens when we actually put resources into this thing. And look what the fucking Seahawks just did with a top-notch defense and a defensive play caller as head coach, right? So I think it's going to be a defense. And yet again, the Jets are not going to score a lot of points next year. I think that's how it's going to go. And it's unfortunate, but that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, we at this point, we are expecting 2 quarterbacks of the veteran status. That is not fun. We are expecting, hopefully, a safety, right? You need someone back there with Malachi Moore, maybe a depth corner, maybe some depth pieces on the defensive line. And then outside, like, I don't think they're going to be dabbling in the running back market after the Brees franchise tag. They still have Braylon Allen who's coming off the injury, Isaiah Davis. Maybe they will sign a guy to compete. And then wide receivers, I guess it's going to be a shit show, right? They'll maybe get a guy. They'll maybe get a 3.
If you have a receiver at 16, you have Garrett Wilson, you have AD Mitchell, there's worse rooms.
No, absolutely. I'd feel good with a Garrett, Lemon, AD.
Yeah.
That's you've got to feel pretty comfortable there, right?
It'd be fire. Then, you let Geno Smith, at least develop. I think like the goal of signing a Geno Smith, Joey, is like, look, give our franchise receiver the ball and make him happy. He's very highly paid, so he can't bitch about that. It's just get him the fucking ball. Like, that's it. Let him score touchdowns. Let him get second team All-Pro. And then we'll get this guy a quarterback next year. And, he could develop a Mekhi Lemon. He could at least run the offense.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
And that's all they want. They don't want, they're not going to get a fucking superstar quarterback. It's not going to happen. What's his face? Kyler. Sounds like he's going to the Vikings. Is he a good personality fit? Probably not. But, I mean, I think that's it, man. And it's not what we want to hear. But, what do you want them to do at quarterback? Like, what's a better option? Trading for Jacoby Brissett's better? Like, Tanner McKee, it seems like Howie Roseman's doing his Howie Roseman thing in which he, like, holds them hostage, doesn't trade them unless we give up, like, a fucking second, which we're not going to do. And yeah, like, there's just no exciting answer, man. It's a 1 quarterback class, and we have the second pick. So,
yep,
it is what it is. And tomorrow, looking forward to it, like I said. But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be one of those things where it's like, fuck, I don't want them like spending future money.
I know. So we'll see how it goes. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock, this all starts. We will inevitably be on the microphone tomorrow night after we're done with our day jobs, talking about what the hell moves has happened, if anything at all. They could be we get done with our shifts and nothing's happened, which has happened in the past, right? We've gotten done with work, we'll maybe go to make some dinner, and the Jets are, it's 7 hours later, and you're like, all right, well, maybe we're not podcasting tonight. So, but regardless, we probably will be dropping at least 3 or 4 episodes this week. We got a cool guest drop that we'll drop either later in the week or sometime next week. I don't really know how we're going to do that yet. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll be tweeting all day tomorrow, I'm sure, and distracted from work, of course.
That's it, man. Looking forward to it.
Go follow us everywhere. We'll be posting this: YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Patreon. See you tomorrow. Good luck. Go Jets.